Howdy folks, welcome back to the Slow Dust channel. For today's video, we're tipping our hat to one of the undisputed kings of the Western genre, Marion Robert Morrison, better known to the world as John Wayne. The Duke appeared in over 80 Westerns during his 5-decade career, creating an archetype of American masculinity that continues to influence our culture today. But which of his performances truly stand the test of time? Which roles showcased not just his iconic presence, but his genuine talent as an actor? In this video, we'll be ranking Wayne's 7 greatest Western performances, not necessarily his best films overall, but the roles where his acting abilities shined brightest. I've included timestamps for key scenes if you want to check them out for yourself. So saddle up, partners, and let's count down the 7 greatest John Wayne Western performances of all time. Coming in at number 7 is the role that finally won John Wayne his long-overdue Academy Award, the one-eyed Marshal Rooster Cogburn in 1969's True Grit. By this point in his career, Wayne was 61 years old, battling health problems and far from the strapping young cowboy who had ridden onto screens decades earlier. Rather than trying to recapture his youth, Wayne leaned into his age and physical limitations, creating a character that felt authentic and lived in. The scene where Cogburn faces down 4 outlaws showcases everything that makes this performance special. When Rooster declares, "Fill your hands, you son of a bitch," before charging forward with reins in his teeth and guns blazing in both hands, it's both ridiculous and magnificent, much like Cogburn himself. What makes this performance remarkable is Wayne's willingness to play against type. Rooster is a far cry from the stoic, morally upright heroes Wayne typically portrayed. He's a drunk, he's slovenly, he's morally compromised. Yet underneath it all, there's still that core of determination and frontier justice that made Wayne an icon. The role almost went to other actors. The studio wasn't convinced Wayne could handle such a complex character. But Wayne fought for the part, seeing in Cogburn a chance to show his range as an actor while acknowledging his own advancing age. The Academy recognized what Wayne accomplished here, awarding him the Best Actor Oscar in 1970. While some argue it was more of a Lifetime Achievement Award than recognition for this specific performance, watching Wayne bring Rooster Cogburn to life makes it clear that the Duke had depths as an actor that many of his critics overlooked.
At number 6, we have Wayne's nuanced portrayal of Tom Donovan in John Ford's The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. This film marked Wayne's final collaboration with director John Ford, capping a partnership that defined both men's careers. What makes Wayne's performance as Tom Donovan so compelling is its restraint and underlying sadness. Donovan is a strong, capable frontiersman who represents the old ways of the West, solving problems with guns rather than laws. But unlike many Wayne characters, Donovan isn't portrayed as the unambiguous hero. Instead, he's a man who recognizes that his time is passing, and the civilization that James Stewart's Ransom Stoddard represents is the future. The pivotal scene where we learn the truth about who really shot Liberty Valance reveals the depth of Wayne's performance. Donovan's admission that he was the one who killed the outlaw, not Stoddard, is delivered with a mixture of pride and resignation. He sacrificed his own potential happiness and allowed another man to take credit for his deed because he understood that the West needed Stoddard's kind of hero more than his own. Wayne conveys all of this with remarkable subtlety. There's no grand speech explaining Donovan's motivations, just small gestures, meaningful glances, and the quiet dignity Wayne could project like no other actor. What's particularly impressive is how Wayne holds his own opposite James Stewart, one of Hollywood's most acclaimed actors. Their contrasting styles, Stewart's nervous energy versus Wayne's stoic presence, create a fascinating dynamic that elevates the entire film. This performance showcases Wayne's ability to convey complex emotions without overplaying his hand, a skill that was often overlooked by critics who dismissed him as merely playing himself. Our 5th entry is Wayne's performance as the aging rancher Will Anderson in The Cowboys, a role that allowed him to showcase a paternal side rarely seen in his earlier films. By 1972, Wayne was in his mid-60s and had survived his first bout with cancer. This experience seems to inform his portrayal of Anderson, a man who knows his time is limited but is determined to pass on his knowledge and values to the next generation. The scene where Anderson teaches the boys about the realities of cattle driving showcases Wayne at his best. There's a gruff tenderness to his interactions with the young cowboys. He's tough on them because he needs them to be prepared for the harsh realities of the trail, but there's always an underlying concern for their well-being. What makes this performance particularly affecting is how it plays against Wayne's established screen persona. For decades, Wayne had portrayed self-sufficient loners or military men focused on duty above all else.
As Anderson, he creates a character who finds unexpected purpose in mentoring these boys, revealing layers of emotion that many of his earlier roles didn't allow. The controversial scene where Anderson confronts the villainous Longhair, played by Bruce Dern, demonstrates Wayne's continued physical commitment to his roles, even as he aged. Despite his health issues, Wayne insisted on performing his own stunts for this brutal fight scene, bringing an authenticity to the sequence that still resonates today. The Cowboys wasn't a critical darling upon release, with some reviewers uncomfortable with its violence and old-fashioned values. But time has been kind to the film, and Wayne's performance as Will Anderson is now recognized as one of his most emotionally resonant late-career roles. At number 4, we have the performance that made John Wayne a star, the Ringo Kid in John Ford's groundbreaking 1939 Western, Stagecoach. Before this film, Wayne had appeared in dozens of low-budget Poverty Row westerns, developing his skills but never breaking through to mainstream success. Ford, who had known Wayne for years, took a chance on the young actor for this prestigious production, and cinema history was made. The scene where the Ringo Kid is introduced remains one of the most iconic character introductions in film history. As the stagecoach travels through Monument Valley, Ringo appears on the side of the road, rifle in one hand, saddle in the other. Ford's camera zooms dramatically toward Wayne's face, a technique rarely used at the time, announcing the arrival of not just a character, but a star. What's remarkable about Wayne's performance is how fully formed his screen persona already appears. The distinctive walk, the measured speech pattern, the quiet confidence, elements that would define his career were already present. Yet there's also a youthful vulnerability to Ringo that Wayne would rarely show in later roles. The Ringo Kid is an outlaw, but one with a moral code and justified motivations for his revenge quest. Wayne balances these elements perfectly, creating a character who exists in moral gray areas while still maintaining the audience's sympathy. This performance established the template for the Western hero that would dominate American cinema for decades to come. Without Wayne's Ringo Kid, we might never have seen the evolution of Western protagonists that followed, from the righteous sheriffs of the 1940s to the complicated anti-heroes of the 1960s and beyond. While Wayne would deliver more nuanced performances later in his career, his work in Stagecoach represents a pivotal moment in Western cinema that cannot be overlooked. Our bronze medal goes to Wayne's portrayal of the tyrannical cattle baron Thomas Dunson in Howard Hawks' Red River, a performance that revealed depth to Wayne that audiences had never seen before. Prior to this film, Wayne had primarily played heroic, straightforward protagonists. As Dunson, he embraced a character whose obsession and rigid worldview transform him into the film's antagonist. It was a risky career move that paid off magnificently. The confrontation scene between Dunson and his adopted son Matthew Garth, Montgomery Clift, showcases Wayne at his most intimidating. His physical presence has never been more imposing, and the cold determination in his eyes as he promises to kill Matthew is genuinely unsettling. What makes this performance so compelling is Wayne's willingness to make Dunson truly unlikable. There's no winking at the audience, no softening of the character's harder edges. Wayne fully commits to Dunson's descent into tyranny, showing how a man's strengths, determination, leadership, vision can become destructive when taken to extremes. Director Howard Hawks pushed Wayne outside his comfort zone, encouraging him to explore darker aspects of masculinity than he had previously portrayed. The gamble worked. Renowned film critic James Agee wrote that Wayne's performance would forever shut up those who have thought of him as merely a stereotype cowboy. The chemistry between Wayne and Montgomery Clift adds another fascinating dimension to the performance. Clift, with his method acting background, represented a new generation of performers, while Wayne embodied old Hollywood. Their contrasting styles create a tension that perfectly mirrors their characters' conflict. Red River proved that Wayne could do more than just play variations of his established screen persona. It revealed him as an actor of considerable range, who was willing to challenge audience expectations when given the opportunity. Runner-up on our list is Wayne's darkest and most complex character, Ethan Edwards, in John Ford's masterpiece, The Searchers. Ethan Edwards is a Confederate veteran consumed by racial hatred and obsessed with finding his niece, who has been kidnapped by Comanches. For much of the film, it's unclear whether Ethan intends to rescue his niece or kill her, as he considers her tainted by living among the Comanche. The film's final scene, where Ethan finally confronts his niece Debbie, represents the pinnacle of Wayne's acting career. After years of searching, Ethan chases down Debbie and, instead of killing her as we fear he might, lifts her up and says simply, "Let's go home, Debbie." In that moment, we see Ethan choose humanity over hatred, a choice reflected in Wayne's eyes and gestures more than his words. What makes this performance so remarkable is how Wayne uses his established screen persona to subvert audience expectations. For years, viewers had trusted Wayne as the straightforward hero. In The Searchers, Ford and Wayne use that trust to take the audience on a journey with a deeply flawed, racist character, making his eventual redemption all the more powerful. Wayne brings a psychological complexity to Ethan that was revolutionary for Western heroes of the era. His performance suggests depths of trauma and bitterness without resorting to monologues or explicit backstory. It's a masterclass in suggesting a character's inner life through physical presence and small behavioral choices. Modern critics have recognized The Searchers as one of the greatest films ever made, with Wayne's performance as its complex, beating heart. Director Martin Scorsese has called it the greatest performance of a great American actor, while Paul Schrader noted that Wayne has never been more subtle or moving than as the embittered, lonely Ethan Edwards. This performance represents Wayne at the height of his powers, working with a director who understood how to both utilize and challenge his established screen persona. And finally, at number 1, we have John Wayne's final Western role, the dying gunfighter J.B. Brooks, in Don Siegel's elegiac The Shootist. There's an undeniable poignancy to this performance, as Wayne, himself battling the cancer that would take his life 3 years later, portrays a legendary gunman facing his own mortality. The parallels between actor and character create a metatextual layer that gives every scene additional emotional weight. The film's final shootout in a saloon showcases Wayne's continued mastery of the Western form. Brooks methodically eliminates his would-be killers with the skill of a man who has spent a lifetime in violent confrontation. Yet there's no triumph in his victory, only a grim acceptance that this is the only end his life could have had. What elevates this performance above all others in Wayne's career is its vulnerability. As Brooks, Wayne allows himself to appear genuinely frightened of the painful death that awaits him. In a moving scene with his doctor, played by James Stewart, Brooks asks about the pain he'll face, his voice cracking with emotion. For an actor who had built a career on portraying unflinching toughness, this willingness to show fear represents remarkable courage. Brooks's relationship with the widow Rogers, Lauren Bacall, and her son Gillum, Ron Howard, allows Wayne to display a tenderness rarely seen in his earlier roles. There's a gentle wisdom to Brooks as he imparts life lessons to young Gillum, creating a father-son dynamic that feels genuine and earned. Director Don Siegel, known for tough action films like Dirty Harry, brings an unsentimental eye to the material while still honoring Wayne's legacy. The result is a film that serves as both a character study and a meditation on the Western genre itself. The Shootist feels like Wayne's conscious farewell to the genre he helped define. J.B. Brooks is a man out of time, a relic of a violent era, trying to die with dignity in a changing world. Much as Wayne himself was a living link to Hollywood's golden age, working in the more cynical cinema of the 1970s. This performance represents everything great about John Wayne as an actor: his commanding physical presence, his underrated emotional range, and his absolute authenticity in the Western setting. It's the perfect culmination of a remarkable career.
And there you have it, John Wayne's 7 greatest Western performances. From his star-making turn in Stagecoach to his poignant farewell in The Shootist, these roles showcase the depth and range that made Wayne an enduring American icon. What's fascinating about Wayne's evolution as an actor is how he adapted to changing times while maintaining his essential screen persona. In the 1930s and 40s, he embodied the straightforward heroism America needed during wartime. By the 1950s and 60s, he was exploring more complex, morally ambiguous characters that reflected the nation's evolving self-image. And in his final roles, he confronted aging and mortality with the same courage he had once brought to playing young heroes. Critics often dismissed Wayne as merely playing himself, but as these performances demonstrate, there was remarkable variety within what we think of as a John Wayne role. From the racist obsession of Ethan Edwards, to the paternal warmth of Will Anderson, to the tyrannical drive of Thomas Dunson, Wayne created distinct characters united only by his unmistakable presence. What are your thoughts on this ranking? Did we overlook one of your favorite Wayne performances? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Western cinema, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content exploring the rich history of the genre. Until next time, this is Slow Dusk signing off.